Welcome guys, my name is Blue and I will be your intermediate guide in this journey of being a red mage. You all have been there. An identity crisis. You want to heal, you want to have melee attacks, and most importantly, you like to do damage with flashy animations. If you have been in this dilemma, then you're worthy of being a red mage. A job introduced in the previous expansion, Stormblood. Starting at level 50, the job brings, in my opinion, many things into the table, thanks to his jack of all trades nature. Mostly based in his double cast trait. When you cast a spell, the next one will be without cast time, but we'll get there when we talk about his rotations. Another key point in favor of Red Mage is the healing and raise magics. Not the best healing indeed. It is similar to Paladin's Clemency, nonetheless it doesn't bring the high cost of MP. It is a good tool to have in dungeons, raids, trials and such, but it comes with a management price. These are the basic ideas for a red mage. Now let's move on to his rotations. These rotations are for level 80, but they're mostly the same with abilities changing to more powerful ones, and we will start with single target rotations. All rotations will include the roll actions. Now, this is till patch 5.05. If we start our battle with our gauge 00, I would like to have Acceleration, then Swift Cast, then Ver Aero, Ver Stone, Jolt 2, Ver Thunder, and then Ver Fire. Now, we have to take into account that Ver Stone and Ver Fire have a proc margin to activate, so it's basically managing between your white magic and black magic. White magic, black magic. Now that you have your meter on the ideal numbers, we can now pass to the big combo. This is when we use all our close combat abilities that got enhanced thanks to our meter. Now we have to do this. I like to start with Embolden, that is a 10% physical and magic damage up to yourself and your party members. Korp, and I will butcher these names. Enhance Repost, Enhance Servacho, Enhance Redoublement, Verholy or Verflare, depending on what magic do you have higher. For example, if I have higher white magic meter, in all my cases, I use Verflare. If you have black magic higher, you use Verholy. Then you use Scorch, then Displacement, and then Fletch. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's how I will end my combo. Now we have to have in mind there is movement within these rotations. For example, we use displacement when you have the space to go backwards, because we all know that displacement is one ability that can take you down to the pit of Titan, any other Titania. In Eden, you can go to the first Eden trial and hit the border. You know, it's a complicated thing, but then you can choose to change, and we have the opportunity to change with this new expansion. This step, as we all know, we have now engagement that shares the same cast time with displacement, and this is the method to keep avoiding falling off the arena. It's just changing displacement for engagement, and you have all the rotations on your screen right now, so you can see it better. Now we have to keep in mind that Verholy and Verflare will take the place where Ver Aero and Ver Thunder are. And then when you do that Verholy or Verflare, Scorch will take the place of Jolt 2. Now you have to keep in mind that if you have the proc to do Verholy, Verflare or Scorch, you cannot do any other casting or attacking spell, because it will cancel that proc. Now, with all the rotations in mind, we can now pass to another step, that it's meter management. The meter management is key when you're a red mage, because there are certain abilities that have certain traits when you do them well. For example, this is where management comes up. If you have higher white magic, you cast Verflare. If you have black magic higher, you cast Verholy. Because if you do it, you will have a 100% chance to become Verstone or Verfire ready, making it easier to feel gauge again with any overflow of one type of magic. For example, if you do it 100 to 100, you usually end with 0 and 20. When you have that difference, you can cast your Verstone or Verfire, making it easier to feel your gauge again with any overflow of the other magic, to get it equal and start doing your rotations again. Now this is all for the optimal single target rotation. There are instances where you can manage your gauge with one repeated spell or spending it with Reprise. Reprise is an ability you get at level 76, which spends 5 of each gauge, making it easier to set up your gauge. For example, if you are 100 and 100, you use it, and then you can use Jolt or your respective Thunder or Aero to get your gauge at the higher level than the other, and it's make it easier to make your single rotations. This always depends on the battle. It's easier. Now we can change to your AOE rotation. That it's what our many mobs with the big pulse tanks do nowadays, and a simple method, or the way I found the best to use at higher levels when you have impact instead of scatter, is the next rotation. That is Vero 2 impact, Breath Thunder 2 impact, or Breath Thunder 2 impact, Vero 2 impact. It's just the same, but you use impact. This is for the damage output, as impact has a higher potency than Breath Thunder over Arrow 2. You can use Arrow and Breath Thunder each next to the other, but this is to fill up faster your gauge, but not do the damage. And now you reach your desired gauge level. You can now do a combo with Enhanced Moulinet that uses 20 of each gauge. And you can use Embolden when you have a big pull. So you do Embolden, to get near those mobs. You can do Enhanced Moulinet 5 times, as it uses 20 and your gauge is 100. Then you use Displacement. A key important thing to be aware is with the ability Magnification. When you're a red mage, this doubles your gauge, and it's better to use it when your gauge is like 50 something of one and 40 of the other, 40x. And this is to make your single target rotation, make it to the 190 or 80, and make your whole combo. Because Magnification gives you 5% more damage of your skills, and with big pools, when you have to do your AoEs, you have to have at least 50-50 to get your 100 immediately and use that Magnification enhanced damage. Now, this is the end. Red Mage may seem a handful, but it's not. It's just practice and knowing the middle build up. To wrap this up, here are some pros and some cons to consider when you try to use your red. The pros I can find with Red Mage is the big utility to the party, gap closers and disengage, the healing capabilities to mitigate damage or mistakes of the party, as well as with raids. For example, if your white mage dies within the dungeon boss or in a raid, you can raise them up and try to continue the fight. Obviously, it's not always the best because you deplete your MP gauge, and if they die again and again, then it doesn't work at all. But it's there and it's helpful most of the times. Now the cons, it's not the highest caster damage. That's the black mage. It uses big resources when you always try to heal or try to be the support at least 80% of the time. That it's not your actual role. You are a DPS, so you have to focus on attacking or dealing damage, then healing or raising people. You have to have your focus on one of those two, and usually it's damage. Now you have to have very close attention to your gauge. This is with all jobs, but I consider Red Mage being one, as you can overlap one magic meter and the other, and this takes time to get on the correct track. Now, this is all for the intermediate guide for Red Mage. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments down below and how we can make this better, or your strategies as a Red Mage. Subscribe and follow us on our social media and Twitch channel. We try to stream every day, and thanks a lot for the support.